I am here as a soldier who has temporarily left the field of battle in order to explain what civil war is like when civil war is waged by women. Now, I want to say to you who think women cannot succeed, we have brought the government of England to this position, that it has to face this alternative. Either women are to be killed, or women are to have the vote.
The Parliament was against Emmeline Pankhurst's movement. She founded the WSPU, the Women's Social and Political Union. It was the leading militant organization campaigning for women's suffrage in the United Kingdom. During this time period, women were not thought of working outside of their household. Pankhurst gave speeches, wrote books, and founded an organization which challenged the traditional ways of thinking about women's capabilities. Eventually, Emmeline Pankhurst gained the women the right to vote and was an influence for many law changes in the United Kingdom after her death. Daily life for women in the early 1800s in Britain was of many obligations and few choices. Some even compare the condition of women in this time to a form of slavery. Women were completely controlled by men in their lives, first by their fathers, brothers, and male relatives, and finally by their husband. Their sole purpose in their life was to find a husband, reproduce, and then spend the rest of their life serving him. If a woman were to decide to remain single, she would be pitied by the community. Women were supposed to stay home and take care of their children, while men lived free and did what they pleased. It was very rare for women to stand up for what they believed, until Emmeline Pankhurst took a stand for women throughout Britain. Emmeline Pankhurst was born on July 15, 1858, Manchester, to Robert Golden and Sophia Jane Crane. Pankhurst was born into a family of traditional radical politics. Both of her parents were abolitionists and supporters of female suffrage. At the age of 14, her mother took Pankhurst to her first women's suffrage meeting. It was since then that Emmeline Pankhurst knew that she had a purpose in life, to gain the women the right to vote. On December 18, 1879, Emmeline Pankhurst married Richard Pankhurst. Richard Pankhurst was a lawyer and supporter of women's rights. Her husband encouraged Pankhurst to fight for women's rights until his death in 1898. Between her grief for her husband and her passion for women's rights, in 1903 she decided to create a new women's group that focused only on voting rights. It was called the Women's Social and Political Union.
So when Emily moved here with her family, who'd have thought that this is where the suffragette movement would begin? It wasn't until 1903 that she invited 5 other women from the Independent Labour Party to a meeting in her parlour. And therein, they decided to set up the WSPU, the Women's Social and Political Union. Within 10 years, that union was the largest radical movement for women in the country. So from 6 women in a parlour in Manchester to a movement that changed the world and won the vote for women.
Before the WSPU was founded, the fight for women's rights to vote was already in action. A group that was formed before the WSPU was known as the NUWSS, the National Union of Women's Suffrage Societies. The NUWSS was formed in 1897 and brought together smaller suffrage organizations. To succeed their goal, the NUWSS used non-confrontational constitutional ways, which later caused the group to become shut down. The Women's Social and Political Union approached their goal differently than the NUWSS and changed Emmeline Pankhurst's movement. In 1905, Pankhurst's daughter, Christabel, and fellow WSPU member, Annie, went to a meeting to demand if the Liberal Party would support the women's suffrage. Both women were arrested. When Pankhurst saw the attention her daughter was getting, it encouraged Emmeline Pankhurst to have the WSPU to have more combated path to accomplish their goal. This led to button-holding politicans and holding rallies. Following these tactics, Pankhurst went to jail in 1918. By 1913, militant actions by the WSPU included window breaking, vandalizing public art, and arson. The WSPU also made sure they were the topic of Britain. They made sure they were on the top of every newspaper. By 1909, the WSPU had branches all over the country and published a newspaper called Votes for Women, which sold 20,000 copies each week. All of Britain knew about this movement, which brought many founders and donations to improve their movement. Pankhurst Pankhurst went to jail many times but never served her full time. Pankhurst would starve herself almost to death, and then they would let her go to recover and never return again. Because of this, the Prisoner's Temporary Discharge for Ill Health Act was enacted in 1913. The law said that prisoners that were released for health reasons could be rearrested after they recover. It was called the cat and mouse game, in which the cat was the government and the mouse was the suffragettes.
There was never any question of the Liberals caving in to the demands of the Pankhursts, which was to give women votes on the same terms as they were given to men. Because to do that, to give votes to women who were property owners, was to reinforce the conservative vote.
In the face of this resistance, suffragettes repeatedly targeted the nerve centre of British power.
The suffragettes' motto was deeds, not words, and one of the actions that they took to grab attention was to chain themselves to the railings here at number 10 Downing Street. It was the first time that anybody had done anything like that, and it became a sort of iconic image for the whole campaign.
They used to use those belts to chain themselves to railings. Right. And they were actually adapted from belts that were previously used in lunatic asylums.
I cannot get over the tininess of all these women.
Yeah. And one of the reasons that they liked wearing those, the suffragettes, was because they knew that the only way that the police could really release them was by manhandling them and going under their clothing. And of course that was something that the police were very reluctant to do. This here is a toffee hammer, and toffee hammers were traditionally used by suffragettes for window smashing. They were very keen to attack property from that period because they felt that would be a way of getting the public, businesses and the government to sit up and take notice. And toffee hammers were particularly used because they were very light and they were very easy to conceal.
In 1914, Emmeline Pankhurst wrote the book My Own Story and Suffragette My Own Story. These books focus on why Pankhurst decided to found the WSPU and how she was going to approach this goal. They also focus on what influenced her to actually gain the women's right to vote. Later on that year, Emmeline Pankhurst gave a speech on November 13, 1913 in Hartford, Connecticut. This speech is called Freedom or Death. The speech theme was that if a woman didn't gain the right to vote, they will die fighting for it.
Emmeline Pankhurst was an incredibly moving, powerful speaker. Her speeches galvanized hundreds of thousands of women. It gave them a sense that they had a right to vote and that their dignity as women was something that they should work for and fight for.
After a long and bitter struggle for equality, the death of Emily Davidson, the suffragettes' impassioned speeches had their effect. Women over 30 got the vote in 1918. By 1928, this was extended to all women over the age of 21.
Words and ideas are very, very powerful. You can kill a person, but you can't easily kill an idea.
When World War I broke out, Pankhurst felt that she wanted a country to be able to vote in. Pankhurst encouraged women to join the war effort and fill factory jobs so that the men could fight in the war. Because of the contributions of women during wartime, it helped convince British government to grant women limited voting rights. The Representation of People Acts of 1918 granted those who met a property requirement and were 30 years of age to vote. Later on the year, another bill was passed out that gave women the right to be elected to the parliament. Pankhurst later ran on for parliament, but her campaign was disrupted by ill health. Pankhurst was 69 when she died in London on June 14, 1928. Even though Pankhurst was not able to live and see, on July 2, 1928, Parliament gave all women voting rights if they were 21 years or older, equal as men. Emmeline Pankhurst was forever and is forever remembered as the woman who gained all women in Britain a voice. Emmeline Pankhurst took a stand in the United Kingdom for all women who didn't have a right to vote. She later on won the women's right to vote, and this was a voice for every single woman in Britain to be able to say what they couldn't say before the year of 1918.